fun stuff.
It looks like it. So we ran into it on the lesson.
All right, so this is distributive property is something that gets used a lot in algebra because you're kind of doing algebra. So this comes up a lot, right? Right. No. Right. It comes up a lot, and it gets complicated like really fast. So today is like, let's set the groundwork. Let's make our rules straight on using the distributive property, because this thing comes up a lot in algebra. You're pretty much doing algebra anyway. So let's make sure we have a good handle on what it is. It's how we use formulas in math and science. It's keeping everything in the correct order. If you're a person who loves organization, this will come easy to you. If you like things nice and neat and organized, that's what this is all about. How do we find the perimeter of a rectangle? Okay, well, there's a formula for that, right? And the formula using the distributive property looks like this. All right, so I just wrote out the formula for the perimeter of a rectangle. Using the distributive property, I'll show you how this works. So I just wrote out the formula, or a formula that is how to find the perimeter of a rectangle to get a result. And what we do is we take this ye old 2 here and we multiply it to the 2 variables inside the formula. And our net result is P equals 2L plus 2W. We end up with, we just distributed the 2. What does distribute mean, basically? You're passing it out, right? You're passing something out. So you're passing out that 2 to the L and the W. Okay, this happens a lot this year. It happens a lot next year. It's a lot of stuff. All right? Now we're going to work on using the distributive property both going forward and then backwarding it, doing it in reverse a lot this year. So let's make sure we get our terms right. All right? So far, so good? All right, so let's do another one that looks different. I don't care what the letters stand for. This is called, when we use this distributive property, another word that gets used to substitute is, you'll see this word come up, is to expand. Basically what we're going to do is distribute the number on the outside of the parentheses to whatever's inside the parentheses. So we're going to distribute the 3 to the W and to the M to get 3W plus 3M. That should not be too hard. Where it gets complicated, and not so much today, but where it will get complicated, is the next component. And that is when we have to factor. And we're going to end up setting our problem up as if we were doing the distributive property. So I have 2 terms here. 1 term, 2 terms. What do both of those terms have in common?
The A.
The A. So you take the thing that they have in common and put it on the outside. Okay? So, and then you just write X and Y. X plus Y. We took out what was in common. All right? I'll give you a harder one. But does that make sense? All right. Let's factor a tougher one. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna factor. What does the 6x and the 15 have in common? This is a tougher one. Because it's not the numbers you see that they have in common, but a factor of those numbers they have in common.
No,
They have a
1x.
3 in common. They have a 3 in common. So we're going to write the 3 on the outside because that's what's in common. What is 6 divided by 3? So it's going to be 2x. And what's 15 divided by 3? 5. So 5 goes here.
No, there's no extra.
Yes, there
Oh.
is. That x stays. The other one didn't have an x. All right? Good? All right, let's take a timeout for a second. Next piece of the puzzle today that did not advance. Order of operations, what does that mean? What does it mean?
Order you.
Okay, the order we do a problem in. Does anybody remember the order you do a problem in?
Isn't it multiplication and division and then addition and subtraction?
Yes, but there's more before that. You were correct.
Oh yeah, the parentheses.
Parentheses.
Exponents.
And okay. So yeah, so the acronym, which are not helpful to me whatsoever, but to some people they are, is PEMDAS. Like I never can figure out not acronyms, mnemonic devices. I just can't. It's not my thing, but I know a lot of people love them. So whatever works for you.
How do you spell
PEMDAS is the most famous of them all because it goes, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally.
I
who
did
burped."
excuse my girl boss and swag.
That's whatever helps you remember. But you just what I can never do is I spent so much time to remember the words I can never remember what they stood for. So it's parentheses, exponents, and square roots, multiplication, division. Now this part gets a little confusing. It can be either or as long as you're working left to right. All right, people like, oh no, I see division first, but I gotta do my multiplication before it's at the same time. Right? We read left to right, you do math left to right. If we were Japanese, they'd be written the opposite way. Or Arabic, if we were Arab speaking people or Hebrew speaking people, they'd be written a little bit different. Because they read right to left. Some people do. Some cultures. Although the math isn't right to left. So it's a little tougher. So we're going to take this thing we just wrote out, we just talked about,
How do you spell parentheses?
parent, like doing parents, the right parent. He, the, it's parent, he says. It's almost like sees, but only one E. Parent, he sees, but only one E. S-E-S.
Parent.
It almost works to
Says.
say parent, he sees.
It works.
It's close. Anyway, that's besides the point. 20 minus 2 times 3 squared plus 7 plus 8 divided by 5. Let's just throw almost everything into this problem. We'll make a harder one next. All right. With our order of operations, something's got to come first. And I'm going to write this problem not 1,000, but a lot of times. All right, so what do we do first?
Parentheses.
All right, so we got 20 minus 2 times 3 squared plus, what's 7 plus 8?
15.
15 divided by 5. What comes next? Exponents. So 20 minus 2 times 9 plus 15 divided by 5. What comes next?
Multiplication, division.
Okay, so that's 20 minus 18 plus 3. What comes next?
5.
I don't care about the answer. What comes next? I do care.
That is what
Addition,
that is.
subtraction.
Okay, so 2 plus 3, 5. I told you I was writing out all the steps. I wrote out everything we did. But we still got to the 5. It's important to get into the habit of writing out the steps because these will get complicated. And it's not good to do things complicated. Okay? All right. Let's do a harder one. That was easy. I'm not saying this is hard. I just said harder.
That's supposed to be a bracket or a brace?
Brace.
Yeah. There you go. I just squiggle them, right? All right, so what do you do when you have, these are called symbols of inclusion, when you have multiple of them? Because they're all parentheses, technically.
Use parentheses first.
Okay,
You
yeah.
go outwards.
Yeah, you work in to out. So start with the parentheses. 5 minus 3 is? Okay, so like I said, like I did last time, I'm going to rewrite everything. Okay, now what? 6 minus 2, this is our second. Now what? 8 minus 4. So we got to get rid of all, we got to clear out all that stuff. 10 minus 4. Answer is going to be what? Are you sure?
-6.
Negative 6. No, it's 6. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Pretty.
Not too bad, is it? This isn't too bad. Okay. This, as long as you can remember where you need to start and where you need to work. The order is, what are these things called? Okay, if you see all 3 of them. Okay, what are these things called?
Bracket.
Okay, what are these things called? Okay, still, it's parentheses, braces,
Brackets.
brackets. I always get them mixed up. Brackets, braces. I don't know why, but I know why. But I think of braces as the whole thing, but yeah, brackets. So, curvy thing, angular thing, squiggly thing. Right? Does that work for you? It works for me. Okay, parentheses, brackets, braces.
What does a brace look like? Well, that's not really what
They're
it
like
actually
a-
looks like.
Triangle.
Okay.
It looks like a fat old man with a pointy nose. Like a what? Like, yeah, kind of, or a squiggly
A
bird.
guy with a really
flying
fat chin
sideways.
and a really fat forehead.
Right, that's what I said, a fat old man.
Circle
How do you know?
We just draw squiggly lines.
That's what I do. All right.
We still have more? Oh.
Yes. Did we talk about absolute value bars before?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Yes, we did. When we say absolute value, when we write down absolute value, our answer is always going to show up as a positive answer, right? So this is how we do these. These are not hard, just to make sure. What is 2 minus 7?
It's -5.
Okay, but our answer is 5. Now, here's the really tempting thing. And I see a lot of people do this and get them wrong. A lot of people do the square root of 9 for this problem here. They'll do the square root of 9 and then do the square root of 16 and then add them and get 7, and you'd be wrong. When they're like this, you got to do everything on the inside first and then do the square root. So what's 9 plus 16? Okay, so the answer is going to be 5. All right, so just be careful on those. Do the stuff on the inside. You're pretty much treating those as if they were parentheses and then doing the operation indicated. Same thing goes with these guys. When you have a division bar, that's the last thing you do. So what's 12 times 12?
144.
What is 3 plus 3?
6.
What's 144 divided by 6? It comes out to be a whole number. 24. Nice job. Questions, comments, concerns, salutations?
No.